Back on TYT Sports, Francis is back, as you have seen him for the last 5 clips. But I wanted to do a special clip, some word association in the world of football, amongst talk about other things that are really important, like Guardians of the Galaxy and a movie I watched called It Follows. I know this has nothing to do with
It Follows?
Regardless.
I watched a lot of movies as well. You got to think like 40 hours of traveling.
Oh, that's right. You were on a plane for 22 hours?
Not on 22 hours straight. 13 hours to Istanbul, 8 hours from Istanbul to Entebbe, and then an hour and a half from Entebbe.
Where is Entebbe?
It's in Kampala, which is in Uganda.
Okay.
But you have to stop in Rwanda first, and the flight waits for a little bit in Kigali. And you wait in Rwanda, and then you don't get off. You just sit there, and then some people get off, and then you go straight into
probably refuel.
I don't know if it's refuel or if it's a regulation or something like that. I don't know what it is. And then you go into Entebbe, and then I flew on the tiniest little, like, you know those planes you see, like the propeller planes. You think I'm never going to fly one of those. I was on that. I was on that flight. It was insane. It was
some
nuts.
Turbulence.
And you know Ace Ventura in Pet Detective, when he's driving on the road and he thinks he's bumping around, but he's actually driving flat? No, the roads are so bumpy. You're holding on the way around.
That's amazing. No, it seemed like a great experience. We're really excited for the video content that we get to share. Do we know roughly when that will be? A week?
There will be, so there's going to be 2 specific videos. There's going to be one that's going to be on TYT Sports, and there's going to be one that's going to be on the main show as part of a bigger project, which is yet to be announced. Some people are already like messaging me on Instagram and Twitter and stuff, like trying to make judgments. I wouldn't say it's hard to guess what I was up to, but it's a bigger issue that just is kind of narrowed down into certain areas that I focus on. So yeah, I would say from the video itself, which is part of a bigger YouTube collaboration, is going to be out middle of June. And I think that will be the same time we can release our footage. Editors are working hard at it right now, and apparently the footage looks great. So yeah, I'm excited for it to come around. But it was as cliche as it sounds, it was life-changing. You need to understand.
There were bugs.
I will tell that story, yeah. The most serious story is you hear everyone that comes back from like Africa. I mean, I was only there for 6 days. And you're like, I think if you go to Africa and you just experience Africa and you're kind of a tourist, I think if you come back and you're like, oh my God, it was life-changing. Yeah, you probably could say that, but I really am strong. I wasn't in a tourist area. I wasn't in for tourism.
No, you were, but that's the kind of travel that I would like to do.
Yeah.
Of course, there's a part of me that wants to go to see Big Ben, of course.
Yeah, to go to the UK.
And go to the UK. And also a part of me that wants to go to South Africa and see what it's like down there. But at the same time, like, there's nothing better than being able to experience a country for what it really is like. And you got to have that experience. And it's just different. It's a different worldview, and the best thing about that is perspective. It changes your perspective, and
Absolutely.
I can't do that just yet until I actually were to take a trip.
Well, yeah, I'm not going to come back and ditch social media and suddenly think that I'm a born-again person who doesn't need to be distracted by all these other things in life. No, I still. As soon as I got Wi-Fi, I was tweeting and I was Instagram. I was still that way. But
you're like, oh, Wi-Fi.
Yeah. Trust me, it becomes valuable. Wi-Fi. Hot water was valuable at some points, and I get it. There were some people that were being a little critical and questioning me, like, why are you showing the parts of Africa that many people assume to be what Africa's like? There's so many built-up areas in Entebbe. There's beautiful hotels and stuff like that, but that wasn't the purpose of the video. We were going in for a specific subject that unfortunately took us into areas that weren't as developed, and that was where I really got a sense of what so many people live like in that area, and that was where it was become so enlightening. Not that, but the attitude. The attitude was so remarkable. So many happy people were always so welcoming to me, and that was amazing. But the story Jason's alluding to is simple things as power and water and obviously light and everything that comes with that isn't as accessible. So when I was staying in what was definitely a hut that had some form of power, the power would shut off. They said it was always going to be around 9:30, 10. But it would differ. Sometimes it would stay on to 11. You'd get a lucky extra hour to try and find your way about.
And there's like they do that to save.
Sometimes power? They can't plan it, and sometimes they do it to save a certain amount of power. The lightning and thunder in Uganda is insane. It's the loudest and scariest I've ever experienced in my life. So sometimes they shut off power so it doesn't get impacted by that.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah, I've never thought of Africa having experienced like crazy thunderstorms, but when you're lying in your bed and it sounds like there's someone above you just rippling thunder affects and you start to realize, and I'm not a big fan of thunder. I like my dog to cuddle, but she wasn't there with me.
No.
So one night I was in bed and the power went out, and I was like, okay, good, I'll use my phone. So I can use my phone, but I totally forgot that I didn't charge it that day. So the only light I had was the tiny little bit where you try to turn your phone on and it comes up battery needed, and that shuts off. So that was my like flashes of light. I'm talking about pitch black, dark. Can't see nothing. So I'm climbing through my mosquito net to try and get out. I roll over and land on my suitcase, and my mosquito net almost comes all the way out. So I'm panicking, thinking, oh my God, I'm gonna be eaten alive now. But anyway, I just needed to pee. So I've got the worst bladder in the world, have to pee in the middle of the night. So I'm using my phone to try and like find any way I can get. And you need to understand that in Africa, the bugs are on steroids. They are absolutely humongous. Like flying ants, they're called, are huge. Like I could fly on them. They're like the things that Harry Potter flies around in. They're huge. And I'm like, I asked them, like, how is that an ant? Ants are tiny things, but anyway, those are just one of the things. But they have huge rain beetles, big spiders, obviously, that you see more often than not.
Yeah, that was
big. By the way, when I went into my room first, before I get to the end of that story, it was like I was in Jurassic Park. I had to clear all the insects out of my room. I was going around with a bottle of Raid, just completely attacking every area. There was
I couldn't do the spiders. I'd cry.
So at that point, I'm trying to find my way around, and I'm looking. I'm like, where am I? Where's the bathroom? I can't find it. And I just take a step barefoot, and I hear the loudest crunch I've ever stepped in my life. It was like I stepped on a full box of Captain Crunch. It just crunched everything, and I obviously screamed because I'm a big girl. And I jumped to the side and I tripped over and I fell into like, it must have been the table there. Hurt myself, screaming Scottish, "You fucking prick, what the fuck is that?" Trying to see what it was, couldn't see because it was pitch black. Ran in, peed, definitely peed everywhere because I couldn't see the ball and over myself. And I ran back, I jumped because I thought I was going to stand on whatever it was. And in my mind, I was in the scene from The Mummy when all the cockroaches are everywhere. Jumped across to the bed, lay there and just somehow talked myself off of a severe panic attack, fell asleep. And when I woke up in the morning, it was a rain beetle that looked like a Volkswagen Beetle.
I don't want to know what this is. Jesus.
It was at least this size. And I stepped on the poor thing, crunched it to pieces, and then jumped out of the way and screamed. So yeah, it was at least, I think it was about this size. I thought it was a transformer. I thought that was it transforming back into its original state.
Yeah, that would be. The insects, it's tough to get, it would be tough to get over that, but you also have to realize, I guess you're not in the same comforts of your own home. And even when I am in the comfort of my own apartment, the smallest spider freak, like actually, I have an irrational fear of spiders, arachnophobia. I have a very irrational. Clowns are different though because they don't crawl around your corners of your room.
What happens if you had a clown that was impersonating a spider? How much would that freak you out?
Just end it. I would just run. I would just run and put my head in the sand and just never come back up. Yeah. I'd just swim to the bottom to find SpongeBob where spiders can't exist. Okay.
There's rain spiders. There's sea spiders.
On top of the water, not under the water. Stop it. All right, I like the ocean. Before you go, you're not going anywhere.
Yeah, I'm not going anywhere.
Before we go.
Yeah, I think this clip is about football, but.
Real Madrid won La Liga. Chelsea won the Premier League. Monaco won Ligue 1. Juventus won Serie A. And Bayern won Bundesliga. And
Philip Lahm retired.
Xabi Alonso retired. John Terry had a sending off at Chelsea.
Emotional.
Antoine Griezmann said it's a 6 out of 10 that he signs with Manchester United. He'll know in the coming weeks, so that kind of seems obvious. Simeone is staying at Atletico Madrid.
Yeah, I was surprised by that.
Geoffrey Sigurdsson for Swansea is transferred to Everton, which I thought was actually somewhat interesting of a transfer for a decent amount of money. Mbappe is 18 years old, scored in 15 of the last 16 competitions, and lifted a trophy with Monaco, as we mentioned before, and I think is going to stay for another year. I think that's Manchester United is trying to win the Europa League, which was the last year I think we did.
Ajax are going back and forth in a little bit with the trophy cabinet.
Yep, which is kind of awesome. I think that's everything.
No,
Ronaldo's the goal king scorer of Europe.
That one, and then also, Arsene Wenger is. He's staying fifth.
Is he in fifth? He's in fifth too. Oh, and Manchester United didn't finish top 4.
Yeah, sorry.
Most importantly.
By the way, through the camera, you got to give a huge round of applause. I'm sure there's something there. The coverage of Jason Rubin from the world of football.
Yeah, it was okay. There was
your Juventus clip was great. I love that because we all know you're biased towards Gigi Buffon.
Totally.
And you dedicated a full clip towards why you want Gigi
Well,
Buffon.
it was really Dan's idea, and he said, why don't you do a clip on why you want Juventus to win the Champions League? I'm like, that sounds like I'm going to get eaten alive. Are you kidding?
I think you'll find out there's a large portion of the world that wants Gigi Buffon to win the Champions League.
Yeah, but there was a point that somebody made that I thought was very sound. Someone in the comment section said, I don't think anybody deserves to win any kind of trophy or award. You need to earn it. Even if you've been there, even if you have the cabinet, even if you have the accolades and the stats, you have to earn it. And I was like, that's a good point. So now I just want Gigi to really, really earn the Champions League final. Although I think what we have coming up for the final, by the way, is easily one of the better win-win situations. Because if Juventus wins, cool, man, that defense deserves so much credit. Oh, and Juventus signed...
what's his name?
Not Lacazette, was it?
I can't remember. Might have been.
They signed somebody recently.
Did Juventus sign somebody?
Juan Cuadrado, Brazilian one.
Oh, he signed him on a permanent deal.
Yeah. So he's coming in, which I thought was interesting. But and Real Madrid and Ronaldo's going to start. I mean, Zidane's won 4 trophies. Zidane has lost, I think, 1 game ever. I think it was in the El Clasico. I know it says that like there's 3 losses on the La Liga season.
That's the real.
But I don't think that's the real number. I think they messed that up.
They threw shade at PK as well. Ramos was expected to do that.
That would make sense. Ronaldo sang at the parade. So all of this being said, you can't leave for 2 weeks because you missed like 14 friggin' giant news
everyone
stories.
won every trophy when I was gone. I was like, just what is that? I did watch the Chelsea game.
Oh,
I watched
nice.
it with 2 Ugandan Chelsea fans.
Oh, that's very cool.
And they like football, by the way. They are huge.
Celtic won the
fans.
Premier
Celtic, of course, they won it before I left. I think they won it at Christmas. But anyway, they lifted the trophy. My brother was on the field.
Oh, true, because
he works for Celtic, so he was on
because he's one of the... oh, that's so mean. I was going to say something so mean about your brother.
One of the geeks?
I was going to say he's one of the fluffers. Even though I have never met Mark Maxwell. Is it Mark Maxwell?
He's, in the words of Jason Rubin, he loves those high school kids.
Love watching these high schoolers.
Yeah, love watching these high schools. He works with the Youth Academy, sports scientist, very great job.
No, but he does a very good job.
He was walking around, he got to do the lap of honour, so I was very proud of that. There's also a little tie of Celtic, by the way, into what I was up to in
Right, well you mentioned that before you went to...
That's going to be amazing to talk about as well. That's going to be really cool.
Kids are going to go to a Celtic game like once and like a Rangers fan, they're going to be like, what the? What
happened? The knowledge of Celtic there, by the way, in Uganda was incredible.
Really?
I was sitting watching whatever I was doing, can't give more away. He came up to me, someone from Uganda, and said, can't believe you guys lost to Aberdeen today. I had no idea. He broke
How
the
well
news
do they
to me.
speak, not to sidetrack again, how well do they speak English?
So they have no native like the Ugandan language. They speak many different
dialects.
And many different dialects of those languages.
Did you learn
any? Arabic, there's some that speak English, there's some that speak French in parts. I tried one of the videos, I did meet with a young lady who helped try to help me speak, and
she's like, I can't even understand what you're saying in English.
What's going on? And I did try to teach some people Scottish as well.
There you go.
Aye,
shy.
So yeah, stay tuned for all that. But a lot of good stuff happened in football. Glad to be back. A lot of good stuff still coming up with football as far as the Champions League final.
Yes.
My bold prediction going to be Jason. I'm very sorry, but I just...
Real Madrid, I don't think they can be beat. I just want
Cristiano Ronaldo at the moment that he's got just... I don't know, man. He's both in the right place at the right time for a lot, but he's not missing anything. Like everything's going in.
Yeah.
Everything's going in. So we'll see what happens. But good to be back. On social, you can check out all the stuff I've been up to. You can see a picture of me with an elephant, which, by the way, is walking across the middle of the road.
You could be like all the girls on dating apps who, for whatever reason, you know what the most common picture of a girl on a dating app is? For some reason, it's them. This is according to a Reddit thread about like a year ago. I'll never forget this. They said one of the most common traits of girls on dating apps is that they are with an elephant somewhere in Africa as to show that they are adventurous. Here's me and an elephant.
Mine was I was going through a national park where it was like not organized or anything like that, so you're told not to go anywhere near the elephants because they could just like stamp you towards you.
How big they are?
Yeah, they're huge. And apparently riding elephants is awful as well. Like they don't like it when people do that in Africa. So I just took a selfie. He was walking by. I was like, "What's up, big guy?"
Supposedly you're not supposed to ride the elephant. It's not really a good thing to do.
So just take a
How would he even feel if they were on you? Your 150 pounds is nothing to their 30 tons.
No, they get insulted.
They get insulted.
They get insulted. They throw their tusks up.